1, 2. It still doesn't give feedback.
Yeah, right here is
Should I use these? Should I use Should I be using it?
yes.
Are you trying to? It looks good.
Check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Hey YouTube, hey everybody there on LinkedIn and everybody out there watching. Welcome to another edition here of Blockchain Q&A live with yours truly, Kris Bennett and Chad Decker. Kris, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you, Chad?
Doing great, doing great. Getting excited, having a great week. It's exciting even with the holidays coming up. As excited as everybody is about the holidays, I think we're still staying very busy in the blockchain world. I think the enthusiasm is still going very strong.
Blockchain always stays busy. It's a global business. So no matter what holiday we're shut down for, the rest of the world is still going.
Absolutely, absolutely. It truly is a global business, and we're definitely seeing that interest has peaked definitely around the globe. Any exciting upcoming events you're going to? Anything you want to tell the folks about before we kick this off here?
Let's see. Next week, we'll be teaching a class, private engagement out in San Francisco, and then headed out to teach Cognizant over in India. So looking forward to that. That'll be my first trip over to India. So looking forward to that. Looks like an amazing place. So yeah, just like we were saying, interest just keeps ramping up all around the globe.
Exciting. How long are you going to be in India for?
Looks like about a week.
Exciting, exciting.
Yeah,
Very cool.
doing a little hybrid class out there, so it'll be good. So yeah, even though things slow down here stateside around the holidays, the rest of the world is still interested in blockchain, and I think we're just seeing more and more interest ramp up everywhere across the world. So just a really, really exciting time to be part of this whole thing.
Yeah, and if anybody's interested, while Kris is over there, we have this would be a great time internationally for us to run some classes. It's a little slower here in the U.S. as it's our holiday season. We're staying pretty busy for the most part, but there's a few windows in there coming up in December and January. So anybody on uh, the international space is interested, let us know. So, anyways, we'll jump right in here, Kris. I want to kind of get started here on a pretty interesting topic. The first article we got today, I've seen numerous posts about it on LinkedIn this week and over the last week, and it's in regards to Linda. I'm not even gonna say her name right, but Linda Pozak. She's the leader of Deloitte Blockchain, and she came out and made some pretty strong statements this week. And I'll read a quote from her. The boards are asking us about it because it's the news for bad actors, and boards are nervous about that blockchain is affiliated with Bitcoin and altcoins and ICOs. And what do boards do to protect their investors? So it hasn't helped us in the association with the bad actors. Basically, what she's saying is the association of blockchain and DLT services or DLT networks are getting a bad rap, and a lot of board members and executives are having a real problem with it right now. Kind of, what are your immediate thoughts on this, Kris? She's really kind of gone on the offensive here against ICOs and their tie to blockchain.
Yeah, I don't want to take too controversial of a stand, but I do think there's a lot of merit in what she's saying. I mean, we see this all the time. So many people have never heard the word blockchain, and then 90% of those who have just think of it as another word for Bitcoin or having to do something specific with a cryptocurrency or ICO, STO, whatever the flavor of the week is. And as we know, blockchain is so much more than that. So I fully support any dialogue and anyone out there who wants to elevate the conversation beyond cryptocurrencies and ICOs. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There's just a heck of a lot more that the technology can do. And I think once you start moving away from some of the cryptocurrency use cases, it really gets interesting in the business space, especially outside of economics and finance. So I absolutely agree with the mission. And I think as we start to overcome some of that stigma and just get people educated a little bit better, that'll start to go away too. Of course, all this sounds very familiar because it's all just echoes of arguments we heard about the web 25, 30, 35 years ago. So kind of interesting to see all these old arguments back in play again too.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be like I'd say probably getting angry about email and hating email because people have been scammed few people have been scammed through email. There's a few bad actors in just about everything, in my opinion. So,
Oh,
um,
absolutely. And remember the first impression anybody in a corporate space had of email is, why the heck would we need that? We have the fax machine. If we want to
mhm,
send a message electronically, we just fax it. I don't think that many companies are still heavily reliant on their fax machine these days. So it just takes time, and all that starts with education, and that's why we're so driven to do what we do, because as soon as you get everyone educated and speaking the same language and make some of those misconceptions go away, then the real fun stuff starts.
absolutely. And what would you say to executives? I think, would you say executives need to be more forward thinking at this point with emerging tech? I find it kind of disheartening a little bit that there's that many executives that still don't quite understand the difference. While I can sympathize with it, I think it's also important time to educate these executives on the differences and the potentials for both. What do you think we can do with, or what responsibility do executives have right now to educate themselves on these
Chad, I think outside of any one particular technology, today's executives just need to realize how fast change occurs. I mean, look at how much of the world we live in today is defined by things that we considered impossible just 10, even 15 years ago. So I think, whether or not an executive believes in blockchain or thinks there's a lot of value in that technology, I think today's executive just needs to understand that in 5 years, 10 years from now, your business, your industry, your landscape, your competitors could look vastly different than they do today in ways that you probably don't even have the capacity to imagine right now. So just be open minded to change. Just because you haven't ever used anything like blockchain yet doesn't mean that you won't. So don't be so quick to write these things off. And not just blockchain, but any emerging tech, AI, VR, big data, kind of all the cool stuff that's coming down the pike right now.
Absolutely. And if you're an executive and you're not looking at these things, I think things are changing very quickly to where you maybe a few years behind before you look up and realize it. So hopefully we can get through to a lot of these folks that don't quite understand and educate them on the differences and the positive outcomes that can come from it. So um, hopefully we'll get that through to them. That's your job, Kris. That's why we send you all over the world.
That's what I'm here to do. Let's
Awesome.
have a lot of fun doing it. But Chad, it happens to us too. I mean, we spend so much of our time focused on blockchain. Seems like every once in a while I go through the news and read about a new big development in AI or augmented reality or big data, and I'm blown away by some of the advancements in other fields. It's just a lot to keep on top of. So I certainly am sympathetic to that busy executive and everything
Absolutely.
they have on their plates these days.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not an easy task.
No, not at all.
So the let's jump into article number 2 here. I don't mean to keep getting too controversial on you today, and I don't mean to make you really plant a flag in any side of the fence here. But I read an article called, it was entitled "No, Blockchain Isn't the Answer to Our Voting Woes," and essentially there's some scholars that have a problem right now um, with blockchain as a solution to our voting problems. And I'll be upfront with you. My initial thought to them is they seem to only have they seem to only be punching holes in blockchain rather than helping find a solution. I think you can attest to this. Blockchain isn't the perfect solution, but if it can make things a little better, why not explore it? Um, Let me read a quick quote, Kris, and then I'll get a thought from you. Um, it's from Matt Blaze. He tweeted, "No matter how much it might seem at first like it's a perfect fit, civil voting just isn't a good application for blockchain." And that's from Matt Blaze. He's a University of Pennsylvania computer science and cryptography professor. So, Kris, what are your thoughts on these folks coming out against blockchain as a voting solution?
Oh, I mean, Chad, this is a dialogue we hear, I think, all across emerging tech, and it's very timeless. So I certainly understand where the authors are coming from, but I think it's important to remember with any technology, not just blockchain, but any technology we have at our disposal, it's just a tool. That's it. It's just a tool in your toolbox, and how you use it, that's on you. So I think some of the knocks they have on blockchain in this article is because the technology doesn't address human problems. I think there was a piece in there about well, someone could hold you at ransom and force you to vote a certain way, and blockchain doesn't do anything to prevent those types of problems. And that to me is where it just starts to get a little humorous, because I'm not sure quite what the author's ultimate vision of the ideal technology would be. But no technology is going to make us moral or make us honest or solve our human problems. That's on us. And every tool in your toolbox you can use to do something productive with or something destructive with. That's just on you. So I get where they're coming from, but if you really want to cast doubt on the future of blockchain, show me some reasons why technically it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, and leave it on the humans to be good humans.
That kind of leads into my next point on this article. Do you feel like they have a true technical understanding? Because I'll read a quote. In particular, if malware on a voter's device alters a vote before it ever reaches a blockchain, the immutability of the blockchain fails to provide the desired integrity, and the voter may never know of the alteration. I feel like that's exactly what the point of using a blockchain is to know the outcome, and for only you to know the outcome of your own vote and make sure it's counted in the way you intended it to be counted. Do you feel like they have a true grasp of what this technology is capable
of? Statements like that make me wonder a little bit. Maybe they're getting their information from different sources, but I up till now don't ever recall hearing blockchain proposed as an antivirus or anti-malware solution. So if you're voting on a device and it got infected with a virus, that's a problem. That's also a problem with our current technology too. And I think this is another trap that a lot of people fall into with blockchain. Is there's this debate between the enthusiasts who think it's a perfect solution for everything, and the naysayers who think it's the worst idea in the world for anything and everything. And the truth is always in the middle. In a lot of cases, blockchain can come in and make something incrementally better, but it's not the perfect solution. And there are a lot of use cases where blockchain just doesn't really have a good fit. So I think we just need to kind of remember to strike that balance. But I kind of get nervous, not just with blockchain, but with any technology. Anytime I hear an opinion from either one of those edges, it's the panacea for all our problems, or it's just nothing but hype and fad.
Absolutely. It's a little strong to come out and just 100% be against the solution without really examining it, seeing where maybe the good could be in it, and finding the good, finding the bad, and taking the good away. Walk away with the good solution.
And once it becomes a little more normalized, I think going back to our first article, these conversations die off pretty quickly. I mean, you don't hear anyone today talking about whether the internet is a viable solutions platform or not. We know it works really good for a lot of things. We know there are a few things it's not really suited to do very well. We'll figure the same out with blockchain. So I think when these kind of religious debates start to die down a little bit, that's how we know we're trending up on the adoption curve.
Yeah, it's like a Y2K all over again, right?
Exactly. Y 2.18.
Yeah. We'll call it Z 2.08, 2.0018.
Yes.
Okay, and then that kind of leads us into our third article. Blockchain enters trough of disillusionment on Gartner's hype cycle. Is the hype, where are we at in the hype cycle, and is the hype dying off? Your humble opinion there, Kris.
This may surprise some people. I hope it is. I really do. I can't say whether we're in that trough of disillusionment. Only hindsight shows that. But again, I just think back to the internet, and in the days before the .com bust, similar type conversations. Hey, the internet's going to solve all our problems. It's going to make all of human life better and completely different. The naysayers saying, no, no, it's just a fad, it's just a fad. And then this group on the side kind of looking and going, okay, for all the hype, where are the real solutions? And most of the big names that we know in the internet space today came about after that .com crash, after that hype bubble kind of burst. So I don't know if we're there with blockchain yet. I kind of question the metric they're using. The article I saw, they were looking at how many times blockchain was mentioned on an earnings call by an executive of a publicly traded Fortune 500. And kind of their reasoning was, well, hey, if the top executives at the biggest companies aren't talking about it, hype must be wearing down. So I don't know. That seems like a very narrow metric. But if the hype is starting to die down, good. That's going to let the rest of us who are really passionate about the technology be able to focus on solutions and build some really cool stuff and come back in a little bit and show you that it is viable and there's some really neat stuff we can do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you find that interesting that this on a certain level can, I mean, it's a lot of people, and we've done it, have compared it to the internet. It's very different in some light. But to look at the curve of overhype or hype in the beginning and this big rise and excitement, and then this kind of colossal crash a little bit down back to earth. But would you say, I mean, I don't think it's very far out on a limb, but I'd go to say that the people that believe the hype of the internet in the beginning, now 20, 30 years later, are probably correct, right? I mean, the internet has transformed our lives and continues to daily. Do you think there's some comparisons there?
Yeah, I do. I do. I think the thing with the internet is it just took us a little bit longer to get there, and the transformation was a little bit different than what we initially imagined. And I think we'll see the same thing with blockchain, but I don't think it's going anywhere. And I think you can be sympathetic to this. A little tough to gauge in our position because we're kind of right at the eye of the storm. So sometimes it's tough being in the middle, looking out and trying to see, is the storm getting bigger? Is it getting smaller? Regardless of what Gartner says or how many earnings calls blockchain is being mentioned on, I continue to see, week after week, month after month, just more people get into the space, more people get interested in it. Discussions going further and further outside technology into wider verticals than just banking and finance. So from my point of view, it just seems like things are still growing.
Absolutely. I think we can probably attest the same here. It's only seems to be getting busier, and more people are getting excited by the day.
Yeah, in fact, you guys have a busy week this past week, right? Because of a free offering, I think, that demonstrates how interested people are.
Which I'll get to in our chat of the week, because I had a very interesting chat with somebody on our website that was asking some rather strange questions about a free class. So I'll get to that one. But let's jump into a question right now from actually one of our LinkedIn folks. And it's a question that starts like this: cloud vendors like IBM, AWS, Oracle, and Microsoft jumping into blockchain to launch blockchain as a service in cloud. How is it going to impact the industry adoption? And is using blockchain in public cloud a good idea? I'm trying to translate this here. Is that a good idea? And are we concerned about blockchain app security?
Yeah, so the question was from Rakesh, I believe, and that's a really good one, Rakesh. I think the answer to this question is the same as the answer to all IT-related questions, which is, of course, famously, it depends, right? I think it's great to see the cloud vendors get involved and offer blockchain as a service, because it's just one more offering. It's just one more on-ramp that a company can use to start experimenting with blockchain. Not every company wants to have to manage the infrastructure involved. And for a lot of companies, it's just a redundancy solution. We'll have some infrastructure on-prem, then we'll have some infrastructure out in the cloud, and we've just got a little bit of redundancy or failover. So overall, I think it's a great thing for the industry and for adoption. I think Rakesh brings up a really good point, which is security. And if you're running an application and you don't trust IBM or AWS or Oracle or Microsoft or any of these other big blockchain as a service providers, well, then absolutely, you need to host your own on-prem or with a different provider. But that's no different than any other cloud application. I don't think there are any specific considerations to blockchain in that regard. It's just how comfortable are you, having those assets hosted by someone else versus hosting them in house. But yeah, overall, I think it's a great thing for the industry and for adoption. I mean, these are some big names: IBM, Amazon, Microsoft, who are getting into this space. So I think that shows you that blockchain is an offering of something that's not going away anytime soon.
Yeah, what does that mean for the rest of the market with all these big players getting into it? Is there still room for small to medium sized businesses to play in this field, or is everybody going to get pushed out by these larger offerings?
Oh no, I don't think so. I think in a lot of ways you can even coexist quite comfortably. Everyone thought that Amazon was going to be the death of retail, and maybe it closed up a lot of mom and pop shops on Main Street. But how many of those same shops have set up their own storefronts in the overall Amazon shopping experience? So I think the big players and the small players can comfortably coexist, and I think even if they end up competing, it's still so early. I mean, if you're in the States and we got the holiday coming up, maybe try this with your friends, your family, while you're sitting around Thanksgiving dinner. If you're not in the States, just try it this week. Just a little thought experiment. Go out and just pick 10 people in your life. Someone standing in line at coffee, someone you ride the bus with, someone in your office, a family member, and just ask them what they know about blockchain. Just ask them to tell you everything they know about it. And I think you'll be surprised as you start and go out and ask just the common person on the street. Most people have never heard of this word, and those who have still don't understand very much about it. So I think if you see an opportunity in blockchain right now, it's all just white space. Go out and claim it, make it your own. And if you end up competing with one of these big names, who knows? Maybe you'll be the next company that Microsoft buys for $10 billion.
Absolutely. There's a lot of exciting opportunities. I think all these big players getting into the game is only gonna create more opportunities to go out there and create some kind of vertical offer with it. All right, time to jump into here our question of the week, which we'll get to for a couple of reasons, but they started with, which blockchain has more demand in the market, Ethereum or Hyperledger? And my response was they both have a pretty good market share. It really depends on your use case. And then their response to that was, do you have any sample class recordings? And reminder to everybody on our website, I can see which page you're on, and they were on our free course that we're giving away to the end of the year. So, Kris, do you want to tell the folks a little bit about the course? And for everybody out there, we are giving away this course free through the end of the year, and it is our Blockchain Business Fundamentals course. Kris, can you tell us a little bit about that course? I heard the instructors getting rave reviews.
Yeah, they're raving for a new instructor. Unfortunately, all of our other instructors were tied up, so you guys are stuck with me again on this one. But this is a great course. It's our Blockchain Business Foundations course. And we designed this to be a very short one-day course on demand, so you can take it at your own speed. If you want to take that one-day course over 2 weeks, you can do that. If you want to do it all before breakfast, you can do that too. But we've decided to offer this course free through the end of the year. This is a course we designed really for anybody and everybody, but the real focus is on audiences, non-technical audiences who are relatively new to blockchain, and they're looking to understand why any of this matters from a business perspective. So if that's you, if you're interested in blockchain and the stuff Chad and I talk about, but you feel a little overwhelmed by the tech, you don't come from a developer or coder background, this would be a good course. Or if you are that very technical, hands-on, you're the engineer, you're the coder, you're the technical BA, someone like that, but you just are looking for ways to have better dialogue with the business side and have non-technical conversations about the technology. This would be a great course for you too. So might as well give it a try. It's absolutely free. And if you sign up for the free course and you don't like it, there is a 100% money back guarantee.
That money back guarantee is good for through the end of the year as well.
Instant refund.
Yeah. So I want to give a thanks to Rakesh for the comment of the week, or the question of the week this week. Rakesh, I'll reach out to you and get you a voucher to go get certified. Looks like you're a cybersecurity professional, so hopefully you'll be interested in our cybersecurity certification. Snowman, I got another question here on the chat here, Kris, that I found interesting. Snowman says, "I'm trying hard to educate. They will not listen." Kris, I'll get your opinion on this, but I feel like if they're not willing to listen, there's only so much you can do, right? And I'm sure there was folks that didn't listen to other people about the internet and doubted the significance it would have. In fact, if you go on YouTube and you look up, there's a very funny clip of Bill Gates on David Letterman, and he's trying to explain email. And Bill Gates is trying to explain email. Oh no, it's Bill Gates. Yeah, Bill Gates is trying to explain email to David Letterman, and David Letterman is just cracking jokes and making a lot of fun of him. But interesting to see kind of where we've come from there. So, Kris, what do you think about trying to educate those that won't listen?
Oh, Chad, I actually have a little text file on my desktop here on my laptop. And it's just a little book of quotes that I keep every time I come up against a quote that history has proven wrong. So things like the president of the Michigan Savings Bank talking about how the horse is here to stay and automobiles are just a fad. And this is part of the reasoning he gave to Henry Ford to deny him a loan to build a factory. So, history is kind of filled with these false quotes or false proclamations. So if you have an audience you're trying to educate and they don't get it, don't lose any sleep over it. There are huge audiences. I mean, Chad, you see this too. We get people reaching out to us every day just saying, hey, I just found out what blockchain is. I'm so fascinated by this. How can I learn more? Where can I go learn more? How can I learn more technical, non-technical, business focused? How do I learn more about blockchain in healthcare, blockchain in politics, blockchain in insurance, blockchain in supply chain? So yeah, don't waste your time. I think if you have an audience that isn't receptive. The other thing without knowing too much about the education that was being presented is it's important to make sure that your education is appropriate for your audience too. A lot of times we see technical folks, the engineers and developer minds, go out and get excited about kind of the low level, the nuts and bolts of the technology, and want to go out and generate enthusiasm in non-technical audiences based on the things that fascinated them. So just because you think it's really, really cool that Solidity is an object-oriented language that supports polymorphism doesn't mean that that's the best way to go out and get other people excited about smart contracts. So just make sure that the messaging is appropriate for the audience too. And if they don't get it, just move on. If you're not already on LinkedIn, jump on there, join the blockchain discussion on LinkedIn, because there are just some really, really good conversations going there, and the people there seem to just be very, very hungry to learn more. So it's a great way to connect with people who might be a little bit more receptive to your message.
Absolutely. And then he asked, Snowman also asked, can you help give ideas to use to try to capture people's attention? I think, in my opinion, find a solution. Don't worry as much about educating. Find a solution that provides value to someone's life, and I guarantee that'll open their eyes real quick. Kris, do you have any ideas about what they can use to try to capture people's attention?
Yeah, I agree 110%, Chad. Go find a little sample proof of concept, build something out and show people that the technology can actually address a problem. You know, if you developed an anti-gravity unit and you went running up and down the streets saying, hey, I've developed this anti-gravity device, you know, no one would really care what you were talking about. If they saw you going down the street on your hoverboard, levitating 6 feet off the ground, everyone would want to know, what is that? How does it work? What makes it float? You know, so go out and find an application for it. It doesn't have to be anything incredibly compelling or earth-shattering. But if you get excited about the technology, it's pretty hard not to wake up every day and just see tons and tons of use cases around you. So, you know, go out, find something that you think is exciting, build your own coin or token, or you know, create a little sample app for voting or healthcare or whatever problem you see in front of you, and then use that as a way to start the conversation. Hey, look at this way we could address this problem. And oh, by the way, it just happens to be built using this technology called blockchain. And I think you'll see a lot better results.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And I'd like to just echo that. Just add value. Find a way to add value to someone else, and I guarantee they'll listen. That's usually the best way to go about it. So, Kris, you have any other closing remarks you'd like to make before we wrap this up here?
Boy, you know, just one. I'll go back to chat of the week, because all that started with, I think the question was, what is there more opportunity for, Ethereum or Hyperledger, or which has more jobs? Or it was something to that effect. And this is just another question that seems to come up a lot, and I'll just throw my 2 cents in there, which I'll first echo, Chad, what you said. There's a lot of opportunity with both platforms, so don't feel that A, if you pick one, you're giving up opportunity, and that B, if you choose one, you can't go do the other. And kind of on a related note, stop thinking that Ethereum and Hyperledger are competitors. They really are two very, very different tools. And some of the neatest solutions that I've seen are solutions that use both together into one cohesive offering. There are even a couple of projects as part of the Hyperledger Foundation that you might want to check out. The first one, Hyperledger Burrow, lets you create an Ethereum virtual machine environment inside your Fabric or Sawtooth network. So even the folks at Hyperledger understand that very often there's going to be a need to build these hybrid solutions that use a little bit of both. So I would say if you really want to scope out the big opportunity and have a skill set that's unique, learn both platforms and start exploring the use cases where you can use them both together, and you will be part of a very, very small group of experts in the world.
Absolutely. I think finding solutions that are hybrid is going to be important to really getting to adoption. I think they both offer a lot of really great solutions that can be blended. We had another question, Kris. I think you'll find this interesting. Do you have any stats if your certifications are leading to getting jobs in the blockchain domain? I'll hit on this real quick, Kris. I don't think by getting certified you're guaranteed a job ever in anything that you're any type of IT certification. There's a lot that goes into it. What is your background? Are you hireable? But from what I've seen and some of the feedback we're getting, the feedback's been incredible. People that are getting certified and letting everybody know and bringing light to their knowledge and how much they know about this space. It's really a differentiator. There's a lot of self-proclaimed experts on LinkedIn. The latest one I've seen is blockchain influencer on LinkedIn as the title. I don't know how you become a blockchain LinkedIn influencer. I don't know what the magic number of followers you have to have is. But certification is a differentiator. Does it mean you'll get a job? I can't promise anything there. But Kris, have you gotten any feedback from anybody that's gotten certified?
A lot, yeah. I'll just tackle that one, Chad, by echoing a bit what you said. You know, that's not something that at Blockchain Trending Alliance we keep formal statistics over. So we don't have any hard and fast metrics we can point to, just because that's not data we track. We're not a placements firm. But what I can tell you is there have been a number of students who have gone through our classes, gotten certified, and reached back out to say, hey, I either got this new position at my current company, or I started this whole new job, a whole new industry, doing something completely different. And it was all because of the education and certification. I've also personally established a relationship with about half a dozen different recruiters on LinkedIn who have asked me, hey, anytime you have a real good student go through class, if they're looking for a new opportunity, please be sure to send them my way. So there is a lot of opportunity out there right now. And I think, Chad, you and I have maybe talked about this on the last episode or the one before. But I also caution everyone, keep in mind that if you're interested in getting an opportunity at a bigger company rather than a small startup or entrepreneurial venture, there's a lot of lead time between an organization of that size, a Fortune 500, realizing that they need to hire folks with this new skill set, and then that help wanted ad actually going to press. They have to figure out what's the job, what's the title, who do they report to, where do they sit, what are their responsibilities, what's the description. It's not like just going out and hiring another accounting junior clerk level 3 where all that is already defined. So if you want the opportunity at those bigger companies, it's absolutely there, but there's more opportunity than you see open job postings for. So you need to be a little bit proactive. Put together a good blockchain resume and cover letter and target the kind of companies you would want to work for and go out and proactively approach them. Even if they don't have a job posting up, I guarantee you blockchain is on someone's radar pretty high up in that company, and they'd probably like to talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have a certification on your resume, I mean, it's only added value or added incentive there.
And the only thing better than that is having 2 certifications.
Right? Yeah, awesome stuff. I had a couple other questions here. I'm trying to see if I can find them real quick. The other thing I did want to touch on, Kris, is we are working on a job board on our website. We're trying to do it correctly, in the most professional manner that'll help students and certificate holders without creating kind of just a messy situation with recruiters and upset certificate holders. So we are working on that. That is in the works. It will be coming soon. So we will have a job board. We're going to work with some companies to post some jobs there and market those to people that are certified. So if you are a certificate holder, you have first access to see those job postings. And that should be here coming out probably by end of the year. So stay tuned for that. Kris, anything else?
Yeah, I'll just, kind of touching on the job thing too. If you're excited about blockchain and you've gotten some education and you want to step into the field, don't overlook how important it can be to go out and create good, valuable content. Give back to the community. Go out, start a YouTube channel, put some videos on LinkedIn, start an Instagram account around blockchain. Just help spread that knowledge back. And you'll be surprised. I mean, Chad and I do a lot of this content. There aren't conversations that start anymore where we have to demonstrate our knowledge of blockchain, just because we've put so much good content out there and demonstrated that already. So that can be a great way to show potential employers your knowledge and your skill set and what you can bring to the table even before that first conversation. And it's just a great way to give back to the community and get more and more people interested in blockchain and make it a more opportunistic space for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we keep going to wrap this up here, but I had another interesting topic here brought up by Snowman. I have tons of ideas, but I'm on my own here with no tech background, only life experiences. What advice would you give to the username Snowman? Says he has no tech background.
Snowman, you're a hell of a lot better off than someone with a deep tech background. So don't consider that a drawback at all. I've actually found that the best technical folks I've ever met are not the people who came through technology through years of academia, but the people who are off doing something else and then wandered into tech later on because they found a passion for it or just wanted to do something new. So You bring a very, very unique perspective, probably one with a lot of real world experience that all of those computer science graduates aren't going to have when they hit the streets. And if you're interested in technology, regardless of your background, there's just never been a better time to get involved. There's so many great resources out there, whether you want to get more technical or more business focused. So just pick what excites you, dive in and learn, and understand it's not a handicap at all. You actually have a pretty big advantage over the people you think you're trying to keep up with.
Kris, would you say that it's almost better off that you don't have the preconceived notions of the past right now with this new technology, especially that's kind of breaking some of the previous barriers we thought were there?
Absolutely. Chad, we see this especially in the developer classes all the time. There are a lot of things about blockchain that if you come from a career in technology are the exact opposite of what you're used to. And so if you've spent a career in technology, understanding blockchain requires unlearning a lot of the things you've just always assumed to be true. And so what we see a lot of times, again, especially in the developer classes, is the non-engineers, the non-technical people, they're a little bit nervous that maybe they don't have the skill set they need to be in that course. And so the whole time they're on the edge of their seats, they're taking careful notes, they're really engaged and paying attention, and trying to close any potential gap they see in their own skill set. Then you get someone who's been writing code every day, 8 hours a day for the past 30 years. They're usually the ones who kind of come in and sit in the back and put their feet up and don't take it too seriously. And they think, oh, I've got this. I've been doing this forever. And the ones who fail the test that first time around are more often than not those technical people who get just a little bit too cocky. So yeah, I think it is a huge benefit coming from outside of technology because you're not bringing those preconceptions with you. There's nothing you have to unlearn. You just get to start right from the beginning and get up to speed right away. And it's still such a relatively new field. You're not trying to become an expert in a 70-year-old, 100-year-old, 500-year-old discipline. You're trying to become an expert in something that isn't even 10 years old yet. So it's not as big a learning curve as a lot of people make it out to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not a big TV guy, but one of my vices is Shark Tank. I always enjoy the guys that go on there and they partner with the tech guy because the non-technical guy comes to him with this idea, and most people would have thought it impossible, and he comes at it from a different angle, and the tech guy kind of gets their mind blown and says, "You're onto something," and then realizes that the idea is pretty strong and runs with it. So I'd recommend even teaming up with people that are technical. Bring them your ideas, let them punch holes in it. Maybe you might open their mind to something new. So it's an exciting time, that's for sure.
Yeah, go find a blockchain hackathon around you, or consider going out and attending one of the bigger ones. You'd be surprised how much room there is to participate and be on one of those teams, even if you have zero technical skills, because someone still has to make the sales pitch to the judges. Someone's still got to come up with that PowerPoint deck to show off the idea. Someone's got to keep the team fired up and motivated when it's 2 a.m. and they're all starting to get a little sleepy. And that can be a great way just to meet people, to see what the technology is all about, and to dive in with both feet.
Absolutely. There's a lot of great forums online too. I mean, people in this community are very welcoming if you're willing to go into it with an open mind, and as long as you're trying to provide value to them in some way. So contribute, get involved, go to these events as Kris talked about. I think there's a lot of amazing people willing to talk to you. That's been my most exciting. I think for me, the most exciting thing about being in this field is it's opened doors that were never previously open because people are willing to talk about it. So go through those doors and have those conversations.
Agreed. Yeah, 100% agree with that.
All right. Well, Kris, I thank you for your time. I appreciate everybody's questions, comments. Thank you guys for participating. It's very exciting. We enjoy doing this. So as long as we keep getting questions and people keep contributing, we'll be happy to keep doing this. So appreciate everybody's time. Kris, you got anything?
Yeah, just don't forget, again, now through the end of the year, our blockchain business fundamentals course is absolutely 100% free. After the first of the year, it won't be. So go sign up. Like I said, it's all on-demand, self-paced. So even if you're not going to be able to have time to go take it till after the holidays, after the first of the year, go sign up now, get it for free. Then you can go through it at your own pace. And it should be a really, really great introduction if you want to learn more about blockchain and all the stuff that Chad and I talk about.
Absolutely. And we've had over a couple thousand downloads, I believe. So a lot of interest in it. Very exciting to see everybody going through the class too. We can see the progress. So a lot of people finishing class. Very exciting. And then after that, if you're interested, there's a certification you can take for it. The CBBF, the Business Foundation certification. So if you're interested in that, let us know. And other than that, I appreciate you guys' time. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks, Chad. And big thanks to Will. He's the man you never get to see on these, but he's the one who makes it all happen. Will's our magic tech guy in the back. So big thanks to both of you guys. These are a lot of fun. Can't wait to do the next
Thanks,
one.
Kris. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care.
Are you looking to become a certified blockchain solution architect, but you just can't attend one of Blockchain Training Alliance's live 3-day trainings? We have great news for you. Blockchain Solution Architect training is now available on demand. No matter where you are in the world, you can now learn on your own time, at your own pace. This self-paced course is taught by BTA's Chief Learning Officer and lead instructor, Kris Bennett.
Hello and welcome to the Blockchain Training Alliance's course on blockchain architecture. My name is Kris Bennett. I'll be your instructor. Over the coming hours, we're going to start from the very basics of blockchain and walk you through everything you need to know to start identifying good use cases in the world around you and building compelling blockchain solutions.
With 60 days of access, a course study guide, an exam voucher all included, our on-demand package is all you need to get certified. Enroll today by visiting blockchaintrainingalliance.com.
Hi guys, it's Ken with the Blockchain Training Alliance, and I'm here to tell you about some major developments that we made in Hyperledger Fabric. We've written a lab guide that teaches you how to go from zero to hero using composer development. This teaches you how to write model files, create transaction processors, write permissions files, and also queries. We don't stop there. We teach you how to package up the business network and deploy it to a REST server. And then we teach you how to secure it using OAuth. And at the very end, we tell you to throw everything away, and we give you a capstone project on how to create a business network from scratch. So if you're interested, go ahead and click the button below.
Hello, my name's Howard Poston, and I'm here to talk to you about Blockchain Training Alliance's Introduction to Blockchain Security course. So the purpose of this course is to help you understand the fundamentals of blockchain security and understand how implementing a blockchain-based solution can benefit your organization and how to do so in a secure fashion. So who should take this course? This course is designed to target a variety of different audiences. Blockchain architects, developers, and smart contract application developers will need the sort of information provided in this course to design and implement a secure blockchain solution. Blockchain system administrators, network security architects, cybersecurity experts, and IT professionals with cybersecurity experience need to understand the sort of attacks that can be performed against the blockchain and how to protect against them. So if this fits your use case, or if you're interested in blockchain technology and how it can be securely applied to your organization's specific needs, I invite you to check out this class and join me. Thank you.
You want to become an Ethereum blockchain developer and know how Ethereum is really used, but you don't know where to start? Then you're at the right course. In this course, you learn to build one project from start to finish. You will build a complete notary that uses the blockchain to store and retrieve data in a secure and trustable way. You can upload files and create entries, and then you can retrieve this information again. You will get to know step by step all tools, frameworks and libraries with application-oriented examples. This course is aimed at beginners and Ethereum enthusiasts alike. It is ideal for people who want to know how to really use Ethereum. We start with the absolute Solidity basics, then we put together a typical blockchain project. We will do that first in Solidity, then in Truffle. You will also get to know tools like Ganache, Go Ethereum, MetaMask and many more. My name is Thomas, and together with my colleague Ravinda, we will be your instructors during the course. I've been working with Ethereum since beginning of 2016, and in addition to blockchain video courses with more than 100,000 students, I also do on-site corporate trainings for large corporations. The course comes, as always, with a 30-day money-back guarantee and a certificate of completion. Nothing can stop you from becoming an Ethereum developer. On to the first lecture!